This stuff here, Yerushalmi Eruvin. And we are on that rarest of rare Tapim, Taf Aleph and Aleph, in which the Art Scroll and the Vilna converge and both start at the same place. So, right at the box. Mavi Shkavol Ma Messi Mama Mavi, which is about more than 20 amos high. You have the Korah, the beam at the front of the Mavi, which is supposed to tell people to stop carrying, to get the edge of the Mavi. If that beam at the edge of the Mavi, the alley, as you translate usually Mavi is alley, is more than 20 amos high, you have to lower it. It says it doesn't matter, even if it's about 20 amos, it's fine. If the opening to a Mavi, to the alley, or no matter any opening, as we shall see, is more than 10 amos wide, you might have to diminish the size. If it has the source of Pesach, if it has the source of Pesach, the classic source of Pesach is the two poles with a wire or string on top of them. So, even though it's wider than 10 amos, and it's you do not have to diminish the width of that opening. Rabbi Yossi Amar Stam, Rabbi Yossi said without attribution. Rav Acha b'shem Rav is the name of Rav. Rabbanan Yafi lo mipisra shel Heichal. Rabbanan learned from the opening of the Heichal in the Beis Hamikdash. The Heichal was 20 amos high, so that is the shear of the height of the beam in front of the Mavli. Rabbi Yehuda Yalmi Pesach Ulam. Yehuda learns on the opening of the Ulam, which is in front of the Heichal in the Beis Hamikdash, which was 40 amos high. So they were asked the obvious question. Even Pesach Ulam, if it's only after opening the Ulam, Dio, it's sufficient. Our boy mama. It should be sufficient to allow 40 amma, not higher than that. The Tzniyatam we learned over there, Mishnah and elsewhere, Sukkah, the Pesach Ulam Gava stream our boy mama, Brachlet stream mama. Opening of the Ulam was 40 amos high and 20 amos wide. So, Tani Rabbi Chia, Afilu Chamishim, Arboim Chamisha Arba. Arboim Chamishim Mama. And yet we know Rabbi Yehuda's Machshir, according to Rabbi Chia, even 50 amos high. Tani Bar Kapara Afilu Mea Amma, even 100 amos high. So, where's it out from? So, Rabbi Eruvin, Rabbi Yehuda Gedaita, Rabbanan Gedaita. Rabbi Yehuda is, according to his opinion, and Rabbanan are like their opinion. The Tzniyatam we learned over there. And I'm going to read the Pnei Moshe, and this makes this very clear. He says, they don't learn out from those places. She decided that as they follow their lines of reasoning, as we learn out later on at the end of the 9th parak. And we're quoting here, so too if you have a bridge which has a roadway running underneath it, you can carry underneath it on Shabbos. Divi Rabbi Yehuda. According to Rabbi Yehuda, that is Rabbi Yehuda's opinion. Chachamim forbid this, and Pnei Moshe again explains that. We're going to read the Pnei Moshe. The Sfila, he holds beis mechitzas d'oraisa. He holds two walls makes something a shusayachid d'oraisa. And we say also that the lip of a ceiling of a roof is as if it comes down and closes the area underneath. So it's not actually it holds two walls just by themselves. Two walls with the Tikra, or as he says in a moment, the Kaira. He says, when you take the day the Sfila Kormishum Mechitza, according to him, holds the Korah is the beam is like a wall. I mean, in particular, we say that is it comes down and closes off. Rabbana hold like they're being lost for the Hosam Pitikra. They don't hold Pitikra. It doesn't. If you have two walls and a roof, and it's a road going directly underneath. We don't say Pitikra in that situation, and it's not a Rosh Hashanah Daraisa. Kim Fresh can comment Sham. V'chinam emav lo shaykh ali bayla meimar Pitikra. Here too, we don't say pi tikra. So they must hold that korah is not, the beam is not a wall. Elekera, it's just a reminder not to go out. The lo they shouldn't get mixed up between your mother and Rishus Harabim. Therefore, if it's more than 20 amos, that there's no heker, you have to, because it's too high for people to see, like near Hanukkah above 20 amos and Sukkah above 20 amos, you have to lower it. I'd like to point for clarity's sake that even Kohen Rabbanan under the bridge is not Rishus Harabim, because Rishus Harabim is not Mekurah. Rishus Harabim does not have a roof. It has a roof, it's not Rishus Harabim. But you still can't carry underneath, because they hold you don't say Pitikra. We have B'Saisim. Pitikra, when we do say it, it's only we have two walls which are adjacent to each other, not two walls which are parallel to each other. So they hold that you don't say Pitikra in that case. And also, by the Korahs, we don't say Pitikra either, and therefore it's really Mishum Heker. Rabbi Yehuda holds there say Pitikra, and therefore you can carry underneath that bridge. Right, it's considered to be Rishus Hayachid for carrying. So he also holds that. Here it's the Korah is Mishum Mechitza, and therefore even if it's above 20 amos, it's fine. The Pnei Moshe suggests reversing the next couple lines. Yerushalmi knows the lines often are the opposite of what we might suggest. So the way he suggested is that just like you say by that case of the Geshorim, according to Rabbi Yehuda, you see the roof as if it comes down and seals. So to here, you see the beam. He says not to be confused with the Amalter and the Beis Hamikdash, which was the adorned, elaborate beam over the opening of the Heichal. But here it's Ha-Malter with a Hey, not Amalter with an Aleph. It's just a regular beam. That here to the beam is Yored V'Sosem as it comes down and closes off as a Mechitza. Okay. Who died to Rabbi Yehuda B'Sukkah? Who died to B'Mavri? Who died to the Rabbanim B'Sukkah? Died to B'Mavri? We have an almost identical mission at the beginning of Masechah Sukkah. Right, which the Sukkah of only the Malamei Chav might. He says you don't have to, and assume it's the same machlekes. Lo damya, they're not comparable. In that respect, they're comparable. But other respects in which they're not comparable. There's things which work by a sukkah and don't work by a mavoi. Things which are kasha by Mavin Pasab Sukkah. Dukranim. If you have Dukranim, so Dukranim are stakes or poles. Question what exactly the cases which we're talking about here with these poles. We do have the case by Sukkah here. Dukranim Kashem Sukkah Psulim B'Mavin. Tanakin Hevi Arba Dukranim. If you brought 4 poles, you see Rabbein. Sukkah kshera, and he puts chach on top of them, the sukkah is kosher. But even by sukkah, that's not kosher, because by sukkah, if you make a sukkah of Tzuras Pesach, it's not good. So we're going to go with the Korban Eidah here. The Korban Eidah says, which is the way the art scroll goes, if you put the dukranim on your 4 corners of your roof, on top of your house, he puts chach on top of them. The sukkah is kosher, even though the sukkah itself has no walls. So good asking mechitzda. The walls of the house continue up, and they're the walls of the sukkah, even though the sukkah itself has no walls. But since you have the schach over the walls of the sukkah held up, over the walls of the house held up by those stakes, those poles, so therefore it's kosher. But by mavi, it's no good. If you put the korah on top of stakes at the opening of which you put on top of the walls of the mavli, the korah is puzzle, and we don't say it's as if the walls of the mavli go up to the korah. The korah has to be mamish on top of the walls of the mavli themselves. Okay, so again, heavy the kohanim and put it on top of your roof, and then you put schach on top of them. So the Haksur Shera, Mavli Puzzle. Hadad Tamar, but that's only true because if the Korah is more than 3 tfachim above the wall of the Mavli, so don't say Lavud. If it's on these poles, these stakes, and it's less than 3 tfachim above the walls of the Mavli, it's kosher. Also, B'Shem Ben Rochav Arba. Also, it's when that Korah you put on top is not 4 tfachim wide. Arba, it's tfachim. Arba is Amos. A lot of times get mixed up and you have to change the girsa. But Arba without a hay is for Amos. Arba with a hay is for Tvachim. So so it's not 420 by Yeshem Baruch Arba. If you look Kama kosher, even they're very much higher up, it's kosher. And I wrote on the side of my Gemara, this seems to be a new halacha which is not in the Bavli. That's a simple pshat in the Gemara, and I think it's evidently Reb Chaim Kanievsky as well, which is that about a kind of P-Tikra type of situation where the Korah itself is 4 tefachim wide. He brings down from the Pnei Moshe and the Pnei Meir a different shot that the Dukronim, the poles, are 4 tefachim wide. So then they become themselves like a new Mavli, because the shir of a Mavli is 4 tefachim. So therefore, according to this opinion, so therefore it's they have a significance. I don't know if the Shir Mov is it's Machlekes and it's for Amos, but in any event, they have a chashivas. Therefore, it's as if it's on the walls. But I think the Pashim shot is not like that. I think the Pashim shot is that it's going on the width of the Korah itself. Okay, Tfanos Kasher. Now, conversely, Tfanos Kasher is Besukkah Psulas B'Mavli. The walls are kosher by sukkah and puzzle by a mavli. In other words, the minimum amount of walls you need by a sukkah is not the same minimum amount of walls you need by a mavli. Tankim learned by a sukkah, shtankim chaser shlish levi utefa kosher. You have two walls which are whatever the halach of sukkah requires. We get them second sukkah. Say there's a sheet in seems in the Yerushalmi only. It's not 7 tefachim like the Bavli, but only 4 tefachim. But 4 by 4. Let's assuming it's 4 tvachim, and the third one is even a tefach, that's enough. And that in fact seems to be Rabbi Chia says in name Rabbi Yechon. Yerushalmi Eruvin says shtaim arba tvachim b'shlish lefil tefach kosher. The article, however, wants to say it's about it's going according to the shot, the standard in the Bavli, which is by 7 by 7 tvachim. So therefore, he gives 2 pictures here, which you can get 4 tefachim on each side and still get 7 altogether. But that's not. I don't think it's a push from the Yerushalmi. It seems that the Yerushalmi is going the shitasa by 4 by 4 tefachim is enough by sukkah. But by mavi actually aruchos. Mavi has to be closed off on all 4 sides. 4th side can be lechi or koira, so it's a pesach, but it has to be closed off on all 4 sides. Rochem es amos. What if it's more than amos? B'sukkah kshera, by a sukkah that's kosher, over mavli puzzle. By mavli it's puzzle, right? So there's no shear to the opening. As long as you have three walls, 4th wall doesn't matter how open it is. Without getting into shlish tabil tefach, how exactly that works, but certainly on the 4th wall can be as broadly open as you want. And whereas Mavli, it can be no more wider than 10 amos, even on the 4th wall. He lost a gemen v'esadlas. So if you put a used as your korah used a grapevine or a gourd, so then it's by sukkah it's possible for schach. But by a mavli it's kosher. But it says harder to tame ad base sign that which is kosher by mavli it's only up to a base sign. Aviyasa base sign is one base sign which is 50 by 100 amos, which is the shear of the mishkan, the chutzner in the mishkan. So then naska mechitza shukva lezoim becomes like a wall which is surrounds an area which is planted. She'em b'taltbal arba amos, which are only allowed to carry 4 amos, which is a radical chiddush of the Yerushalmi. The way Chaim Kanievsky explains it, that first of all, some people say that it's where the geffen itself is, if it's planted in the area of the mavli, it's like zroim, and it's mevatel the hekef, because it's a karpaf. As we know, karpaf is any place where there is base Osayim of planted area, but this doesn't sound, but it doesn't seem that way because we know that trees don't make Sanya Karpov. Only Zroim, not trees, and a geffen is a grapevine is a tree. But so it seems that, like Chaim Kanievsky says, there's a new chiddush in the Yerushalmi. Yerushalmi says a korah which is made out of a living tree, at least a grapevine or a gourd. I'm not sure if it's srach, but it can't be matin movi more than base asayim, because just like the area which is more based on has to be mukaf ladira, has to be an area which is intended in its majority to be a place where you can dwell as opposed to planted. So to the korah has to be mukaf ladira. So therefore, if it's a grapevine which came up on its own, you didn't plant it for the purpose of being a korah or a lechi. If it came on its own, it's no good. It's not considered to be mukaf l'dir. But if you did, says Reb Chaim, if you did plant it for the purpose of being the korah or the lechi, then in fact it'll work. Okay, so chamsum ro mitzil also. If you have more sun than shade, obviously b'sukkah psula, it's not about tzchach. Or mavi kosher, mavi it's kosher. Conversely, sukkah mekura psula, a sukkah which is, not conversely, same thing. Sukkah which is roofed over is possible. Mavi mekura kosher. A mavi which is mekura is kosher. If it has a roof, obviously it's not a problem. But the chiddush is that works even if it's above 20 amos. And that's Rabbi Yam says, lo left over mekura. It's not talking specifically where it has a roof, the entirety of the mavi, but even the malta, unless the malta put a korah, yesh ochav arba tvachim, and it's 4 tvachim wide, and therefore it has a din of pitikra, right? So therefore, if that's the case, I mean, it has a din of a tikra, so therefore, not pitikra, it's a din of a tikra, and that's materes esa mavi, it permits the mavi, even if it's above 20 amos. It's not pitikra, as the Korban Eda says, because it's so wide. But people see it's more than 20 amos high. Okay, so even though by sukkah we say it's not that way, because by sukkah you have to see what's overhead, and by mobile you see what's ahead of you. So by mobile you can see it ahead of you, even if it's about 20 amos high, if it's that large. By sukkah you don't see what's the schach directly overhead, so therefore it's no good. Rabbi Yachim Kana said, everybody says supposed to have the word ein here. I think the article probably puts it in explicitly. Ein halacha. Oh, this is right for the next page. Okay, so actually, we'll leave the ein halacha, that part for the article does put it in, but we'll leave it for tomorrow. Okay.